Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a video to compare two mice that are vastly different in price, but similar in spec in some ways, and offer different features which make them appeal to different people, so I think it's worth discussing. The Razer Naga Pro, the most expensive of the two, and the Corsair Scimitar RGB Elite. These are two mice with flexible designs that include a multitude of buttons. The Razer Naga Pro has up to 20 programmable buttons. The Corsair Scimitar has up to 17. Both have really high DPI levels. Both have RGB lighting. Both weigh about the same. The Scimitar's 122 grams. The Naga Pro is about 117 grams. They're both designed for the sort of people that want multiple buttons on their mice. As you see, the Razer one here has 12 buttons on its side, for example, as well as customizable buttons all over the mouse that I'll talk to you about as I go through. Now, I've unboxed both these mice separately, so if you want to see those videos and go into a bit more depth of them, please check out the links in the description. But I'm going to talk to you about some of the highlights of them as I go through this video. The Razer Naga Pro is the more expensive of the two, and for good reason. It's a better build quality, and it comes with a number of nice features that include 3 swappable side plates, essentially for your thumb buttons, that you can choose between 3 different setups. You can have one that has 12 buttons on it, one that has 6 buttons on it, and one that has 3 buttons on it. They're held in place with a magnet, and they clip on and off really easily. Also, they differ in their design ever so slightly. The ones with less buttons on, for example, have these rubberized textured grips on the side, allow you to get a better grip on it if you're playing a faster paced game. The idea here is simply, if you're using the one with 2 buttons on it or 6 buttons, you're probably playing an FPS or a battle royale game, something that's a bit more intense and faster pace. Whereas if you have more buttons, like the 12 button side plate, that's probably if you're playing MMOs and MOBAs, it's slower pace, but you need more buttons, easier access to macros on multiple button presses from your keyboard and your mouse at the same time to get all sorts of action going on. That is what makes this mouse interesting. You have that customization, the ability to swap out those faceplates on the fly when you change between games without any messing around with software. Really easy in that way. Obviously you can program it within Razer Synapse software, but then you have the ability to just change those out and access those buttons really easily. The Scimitar, by comparison, doesn't have a removable side plate, but as I said, it still has 17 customizable buttons that include those buttons on the side and the DPI up and down buttons as well. It's a much cheaper design. It is a wired mouse, so it's not as fancy as the Razer Naga Pro, but it is also remarkably inexpensive by comparison. I've just seen it in the sales for £50, $50. That shows you the difference in price. It is a lot cheaper than the Naga Pro, but you do get what you pay for. That said, the Corsair Scimitar is still a nice mouse if you're looking for something with a multitude of buttons on it, as well as a nice design that includes all the usual things you'd expect from Corsair, with a braided USB cable, IQ compatibility, multiple RGB lighting zones, a multitude of button customization options, and of course that 12 button thumb side plate. That basically is interesting because it's not only textured, so you'll note each row has a different texture to it, but you can also adjust the position of it by simply unscrewing the thing on the bottom, loosening it up, putting it into the place you want it, and then screwing it back down again. I really thought this was a nice feature because it means that you can customize the setup of this mouse so those buttons are in the right place for you. So it really just depends on whether you use the back of your thumb or the tip of your thumb and what sort of grip you have. It's a really nice simple setup which makes it nice to customize that mouse in the way you want it. And that's the appeal of both these mice, in that they can be customized to fit your hand and your playstyle depending on what buttons you want to use. And I like the fact about the Scimitar that the buttons are textured, they're easier to access, it's easy to work out what buttons you're pressing and which ones you're using, whereas the Naga Pro doesn't have anything like that. If you've got the one with the 12 buttons on it, there's not a terrible amount to discern between them. When you're in the middle of a game and you're just trying to play and work out which button you're touching, it's not that easy. However, the Naga Pro does have other highlights to it. As I said, it's a wireless gaming mouse. It works with Razer's HyperSpeed wireless technology, 2.4 gigahertz wireless. It also has Bluetooth connectivity. You can get up to 150 hours of battery life out of it, which is insane. You'll notice underneath it also has charging pins that can be used in a dock, so you can put it in a dock if you want to. That is an extra expense though. It's another £50 or $50 on top of the asking price, but it makes it really convenient. Obviously with a Scimitar you don't have that consideration because it is a wired mouse. The Naga Pro obviously stands out as these two as being the more superior with these customizable faceplates, easily swappable. It also is the larger of the two. I feel it's a bit more comfortable in the hand for me personally, so if you're looking for a smaller one, the Scimitar will be for you. If you like your mouse a bit on the large side, the Naga Pro is probably the one for you. One thing of note, I did have a couple of niggles with it. This mouse has side click on the mouse wheel that you can see here, and it does react really well, but I did find it was a little bit too loose for me and a bit too easy to activate. So if you are trying to use the mouse wheel, sometimes it will push left and right by accident when you didn't want it to. The difference between these is also that the Naga Pro uses Razer's optical switches, which means it reacts based on a light beam, which means it reacts a lot faster than the Scimitar, and it's guaranteed for a lot more keystrokes as well, whereas the Scimitar uses Omron switches, which I know some people don't like. However, I didn't find any problems with it. I've always found Corsair mice to be solid and I've really enjoyed them, but if you want a sort of more premium mouse that actuates really quickly, then the Naga Pro is going to be the one for you. Be sure to check out the description where I'll include all the specifications so you can get an idea on it. Now, I want to talk about RGB lighting as well. The Naga Pro only has RGB lighting in 3 places. It has it on the side buttons that you can see here, on the mouse wheel, and on the logo. You can customize that within Razer's Synapse software. As you've already seen, the Scimitar has multiple RGB lighting zones. It not only has its 12 buttons lit up on the side, but it also has the mouse wheel. It has a front panel bit as well at the front of the mouse, and it has the Corsair logo too. So it probably has more in terms of RGB lighting than the Naga Pro, but obviously that's not going to make you a better gamer. Hope you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you found it useful, interesting, hilarious, or all of the above. Be sure to check out the description for other information you might find interesting, and subscribe and watch these other videos as well that I think might be useful to you, and have a great life.